Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Well, we are delighted to welcome back to Focus Today Jim Gilchrist. He is the founder and president of the Minuteman Project and interested in a variety of things, and his background is very fascinating, to say the least. If I gave you his resume, it would take up all our time together. But let me give you his website, minutemanproject.com, and that's a good place to correspond with him. Jim, good to see you again. How you doing, my friend?
Very good, Perry. Thank you for having me on your program.
Yeah, you bet. First of all, before we get too far into this, tell our audience again what the Minuteman Project's all about.
I conceived the Minuteman Project back in August 1st, 2004, for the sole purpose of bringing national attention to an issue I thought was critical to our domestic tranquility and our heralded stature as a nation of laws, and that was the illegal immigration crisis. My organization is a multi-ethnic immigration law enforcement advocacy group. Essentially, we encourage people to operate within the rule of law, to support enforcement of the law. A very avid defender of First Amendment rights for everyone, regardless of what the debate is or what your opinion is, and certainly a passionate supporter of law enforcement.
All right. Well, thank you for your work. And again, minutemanproject.com if you want to correspond with Jim. Well, Jim, as I mentioned earlier, Jerry Brown says, hey, come on in. What's he doing to California?
I think Jerry Brown, like so many of our political governors, I refer to them sometimes in humor as the gods of governance. They've essentially lost touch with what our identity as a country is, what the concept of a nation governed by laws as opposed to mob rule is. And Governor Brown is just one of many state governors who have lost touch, essentially have lost touch with the overwhelming majority of American citizens. Doesn't mean he's a bad person, doesn't mean Obama's a bad person, but I used to be a member of their Democratic Party. As I saw what the Democratic Party was doing, in my opinion, I left and became a Republican because I think they're more in tune and in touch with the realistic expectations of the electorate.
All right. This move, to me, Jim, seems to be highly political. I think he's just gearing up to run for president at the cost of destroying the state that supposedly he's trying to govern. If he says, come on in, no matter who you are, illegal, legal, otherwise, what's that going to do to California?
Perry, this has been going on for 54 years. We have not had a leader, a national leader or a Congress that has encouraged the enforcement of our immigration laws and respect for our immigration policy since Dwight Eisenhower, 1952 to 1960. It's gotten now to where it's a crisis, it's a calamity. It's not just a couple of thousand illegal aliens coming into the United States without permission. It's several million per year now. I've concluded that the Democratic Party is primarily responsible for this calamity, followed by about half of the Republican Party. Our two major parties no longer seem to represent us. They don't represent me. They don't represent you. They've left us in the status of Americans without a country. Meanwhile, they are pandering to the millions of illegal aliens in a fight over a prospective voting bloc. According to my immigration legal counsel, advice from him is that the Democratic Party will amnesty 5 million with the stroke of a pen. That will allow the other 26 million, because there are over 30 million in the country right now, in my opinion. It will allow the other 26 million to come out of the shadows and demand their amnesty as well. And they will be entitled to it because of precedents set by our president and our Congress. The consequences that to citizenship, and with that comes voting rights. And this is what this open border philosophy has been all about, Perry. It's been about a fight over who is going to gain absolute control over all of our bureaucracies. I know it sounds like this might be way out there, and I'm wearing a foil hat, but I'm not the first one to have this theory. I'm probably the first one to bring it forward aggressively, right, so that the public can be aware.
Well, we're all expecting the president to do some kind of an immigration amnesty executive order within the next week or so before Congress reconvenes. This would fit very well with what Jerry Brown's doing. And yet you go down to Texas and you get into Arizona, you got a couple of Republican governors trying to hold it at bay. Where is the line, Jim, from your perspective of the federal government versus the state government on the border states?
I think the state governments should have the right to enforce federal immigration laws. For some reason, the only reason I can conclude is what I just explained to you about. It's a fight not to represent the two major parties over who's going to get a superlative voting bloc that's going to determine who will control the United States for the next 100 years, which party. The states want to comply with federal legislation. They want the immigration laws enforced. They are tired of being invaded and being used as the scapegoats, as if somehow they're xenophobic, they're racist, they hate people, they hate immigrants. And none of that is true. They love America. That is very true. And they want to preserve the United States as a nation governed by laws. We have a federal government that's certainly been led in a wayward direction by its presidents, current and past. And Congress's current and past, that for some reason do not feel that representing the public or this individual states is paramount anymore. That some reason the central government should control everyone, control our lives, control what's going to be next. Sharia law, if we have an Islamic president who's going to give an executive order that we will all now obey Sharia law, who knows? But I'm as confounded as the electorate about this fiasco, that this transformation of a government that no one can recognize anymore and no one feels comfortable with anymore. As a matter of fact, many of us are beginning not only to fear our government, but despise it. I don't mean in a hateful way, but in a very, very mistrustful way.
Very well said. All right. Again, it's Minutemanproject.com if you want to correspond with Jim, Minutemanproject.com. Jim, before we run out of time, give me a little bit of a update on Operation Normandy, that project.
Yes, Operation Normandy was conceived out of in the memory of President Dwight Eisenhower, who was a major orchestrator of the original Operation Normandy in 1944. That was the beginning of the end of the Axis powers, killing a lot of people, millions of people, and engaging in global warfare. This Operation Normandy under the Minuteman Project, I feel, will be the beginning of the end of the lawlessness. We're not against immigration. We are for an immigration policy that will guarantee the United States will continue to be an economic power, global economic power, and in addition, will continue to be a civilized society for another 200 or 300 years. And I'm asking everybody to join me on the border at any time over the next 10 months up until May 30 of next year to show their bring their grievance forward with the federal government by appearing on that border and engaging in border observation and reporting activities.
All right. And then get more information there at your website?
Yes, visit me at MinutemanProject.com. Click on the icon, Operation Normandy, to jump in and register your support for what we're doing. Thank you.
All right. One last question before I let you go. What's been the reaction to Governor Brown's statement among the citizens of California about, say, hey, come on in, you're welcome here?
Very negative. And his, it's almost like a cancer, in my opinion, my words. The mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, followed in step with Governor Brown, inviting as many illegal aliens into his city as whoever wants to come. And this is insane. This is absurd. It's like living in a home with no windows and no doors and let strangers come in and have their way with your family members, with your stuff, with your property. It's not right. And Americans are starting to get this, and we are all bewildered. We don't understand what our country is doing to us. It's not our country anymore.
Well, fascinating. Very well said. Thank you, Jim. Good to see you again. Keep up the good work. And it's MinutemanProject.com is his website if you want to correspond with him. And let's stay in touch, okay?
Thank you, Perry. Anytime.
All right, see you later. All right, again, that's MinutemanProject.com. That's his website. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.